Most fail to understand that it only takes 3 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger.
Officers found one victim with multiple gunshot wounds.
A victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have a vehicle taped off at the scene here. They have been collecting evidence around it for the last couple hours. Again, this is Kendall Avenue on Seaver Street.
A 14-year-old boy is dead, shot multiple times on Washington Street in Roxbury.
My name is Shannon Freisen, and I am one of the directors for the Life After Prison. In the United States, every community has been impacted by gun violence.
My name is Joe Rowell, and I'm on the board of directors at Life After Prison. A major part of my existence as a young person had to do with me navigating gun violence and being able to avoid it and engage in it in a way where I'm here today to talk about it.
My name is Mike Curry. I am the executive director and co-founder of the Life After Prison. I grew up in Grove Hall. Grove Hall is a neighborhood in Boston on the Roxbury and Dorchester line. And a street within that community had some of the worst individuals to walk the streets of Boston, and that street is called Castlegate Road.
A person was shot at the corner of Castlegate Road and Blue Hill Avenue.
That's the street that I grew up on. I grew up on Castlegate. I did everything on Castlegate. And one of my closest friends that I grew up with was my friend Day. We did everything together, from stealing cars, holding guns, jumping people, shooting at people, selling drugs, smoking weed. Anything that you could name negative, me and Day did it. We did it because we felt like it was normal.
My name is Robert L. Connolly. I'm on the director's board of Life After Prison. In the 90s, we had a lot of gun violence, and a lot of people actually went to jail. And you left young men and young women out here without guidance.
Around the time he turned 16 years old, he got shot in his left eye and ended up losing his eye. Because now, it wasn't just Day from Castlegate, it was One-Eye Day from Castlegate. While I took a back seat and let him do the thing that he wanted to do, I still was in his ear telling him right from wrong. August 4th, 2007, that was the worst day of my life. That was the day when I lost my best friend, Day. His death affected me in a way that no one could ever imagine. It just hurt me so much, it felt like I was dead. It felt like I was the one that got shot. So the next 2 weeks, while I was waiting to find out who did it, I was just drinking my life away. And I really didn't care if I lived or died at that moment, because I want to get back for my friend in order to make me feel better with moving on and carrying on with my life.
I think about how it affects more than just the victim or even the shooter. I think about how it affects the whole community.
It is a sad endeavor to even be dealing with, and one that I think, at least in Massachusetts, we are taking seriously enough to try to control the number of guns on the streets that are illegal, and to teach responsible gun ownership and responsible gun use.
2 weeks after he passed away, I got locked up on a federal drug charge and eventually got sentenced to 16 years in federal prison. And my first 8 years, I still had the same mindset of exacting revenge. But after my 9th and 10th year, I had to think about carrying on his legacy in a positive way. And that positive way was me doing better, me helping his kids, me helping his grandkids, and letting the world know that he still exists within me. They say you live by the gun, you die by the gun, and Day was a classic example of living by the gun, dying by the gun. But what many don't know is that he loved his daughter, he loved his friends, he loved his family. In 2010, while I was in federal prison, I decided that I wanted to pen my experience down. So I started to write a book. The book had no name, so the next 4 or 5 months, I decided to complete the book. And once I got out the hole, I met a prisoner who was also not just a regular prisoner, he was a high profile prisoner. By me and him just talking and he's reading my book, he was like, you don't got no name. And that's when we started to go back and forth on different types of names that could fit that book. And then he looked at me and he said, you know, it's only take 3 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger. And I was like, that's the name of the book, 3 pounds of pressure. I created the book to bring awareness to inner city violence, to bring awareness to families who lost loved ones, to the shooters, to those who got convicted or got arrested for violent crimes or gun possession. I wrote the book not only to bring awareness, but to also educate everyone. 3 pounds of pressure is all it takes to pull the trigger, and it's not just in Boston. It's all over the country. 3 pounds of pressure is a book series. We got 3 pounds of pressure 1, Shattered Dreams, 3 pounds of pressure 2, and Asset Protection. They all interconnect with each other, and it brings out a message about gun violence.
The 3 pounds of pressure gun violence intervention program aim is to shed light on the devastating impact and lethality of guns when they fall into the wrong hands. Urban communities are particularly vulnerable to gun violence, and it is our responsibility to use our voices, power, and knowledge to address and resolve this problem. By doing so, we can put an end to the cycle of minorities killing each other and pave the way for a safer and more harmonious society.